why the A-10 Thunderbolt is suited for the Strait of Hormuz. While the U.S. Air Force has been trying to retire the aging A-10 for years, to free up budget for fifth-generation stealth fighters like the F-35. However, the unique geography and asymmetric threats of the Strait of Hormuz have made the Warthog temporarily indispensable. They fly low and can slow down the flight speed. Modern jets often fly too fast and high to effectively track small, agile boats swarming in a tight, literal coastal environment. The A-10 is built to fly close to the surface, allowing pilots to visually identify and engage small, erratic targets. One of the main advantages is that it also has massive waiter time. The A-10 can circle above the strait for hours. This persistent overwatch allows them to wait patiently for IRGC-bot to emerge from hidden coastal inlets before striking. As we also know, the strait is heavily defended by man-portable air defense systems and small arms fire. To counter small firearms, the A-10's titanium bathtub cockpit armor and redundant flight systems allow it to absorb heavy anti-aircraft fire and keep flying, a risk the military is less willing to take with a F-35 $100 million stealth fighter jet. But the A-10s are not operating alone. They are currently acting as part of a layered tactical network, working directly alongside Apache attack helicopters, which are also hunting boats and intercepting one-way attack drones in the Strait of Hormuz.
So why exactly is the military keeping the A-10 in the fight? It all comes down to the rugged engineering behind its airframe. But to see why this plane refuses to die, we first have to crack it open and understand how it actually works. The A-10 is a ground attack aircraft primarily constructed from aluminum alloys. Its airframe consists of multiple independent beams that run along the length of the fuselage and wings providing exceptional structural integrity. Since these aircraft operate at very low altitudes to support ground troops, they often face intense enemy fire. To withstand such conditions, the A-10 is designed with a rugged airframe capable of absorbing significant battle damage. It features extensive armor protection around the cockpit, and the glass is also bulletproof and other critical components, making it exceptionally durable for close air support missions. In fact, the A-10's cockpit is encased in titanium armor, also called the bathtub, weighing approximately 1/200 lb, which translates 540 kilograms, allowing it to withstand heavy impacts and continue flying even hostile environments. Let's start from the front. This aircraft, along with its entire frame, was built specifically to accommodate this massive gun. Because of that, the landing gear had to be pushed to the sides. To give you an idea of its scale, let's compare it to a person. You can see just how huge it is. From this top angle, you'll notice that the gun is slightly off-center. This is named as the GAO-8 Avenger, a 30mm cannon, and it's actually angled downward by a few degrees. The GA-8 Avenger uses a 7-barrel gabling design where barrels rotate around the central axis. Each barrel fires sequentially, allowing rapid cooling between shots and reducing wear. The rotation is powered by dual hydraulic motors, producing 77 horsepower, which spin the barrels at high speeds, achieving a rate of fire of 3,900 rounds per minute, down from an initial 4,200 revolutions per minute to extend barrel life. It also employs a double-ended linkless feed system that cycles spent casings back into the drum magazine instead of ejecting them. This prevents imbalances in the aircraft's center of gravity and avoids debris ingestion by engines. The drum holds up to 1,174 rounds, typically loaded with 1,050, and requires a specialized reloading, a process that can take hours due to the system's complexity. The gun generates 10,045 conton of recoil, more than one of the A-10's TF-34 engines, which produces 9,065 lbs each. To counteract this, the gun is mounted off-center slightly to the port side. This design balances recoil forces, preventing pitch or yaw deviations during firing. The reason for the high recoil is because of the size of these rounds. For reference, this is a standard bullet. Right next to it is a 50 caliber round. And finally, this is the massive 30mm bullet used in the JO-8 Avenger. To put things into perspective, let's compare it to the size of a human hand, and it is enormous. To help you understand better, this is a cross-section of an armor-piercing incendiary round made with a depleted uranium penetrator. Just below that is the jacket, followed by a tracer round pellant charge and finally the electric primer. When fired, it can pass through 38 mm of steel. When fired from a range of 1,000 yards. Moving back to the front, the two objects positioned just above the gun and the forward radar warning receiver to create a 360-degree ground protection. These are also fitted on the wings on each sides and finally on the tip of the tail. They are essential for a ground attack jet, as heat-seeking missiles always pose a potential threat. When a target is locked by radar and illuminated by a continuous wave or pulse, Doppler signal used for missiles with a semi-active radar seeker, these radar warning receivers pick it up. The HUD and display unit alert the pilot and activate countermeasures, such as flares to confuse incoming missiles, helping to prevent a fatal crash. Even for civilians, there are countless bad actors targeting our computers, which is why we need a defense mechanism, just like the A-10 Thunderbolt's multi-targeting radar. Similarly, this VPN identifies and blocks suspicious email with a harmful download link. In this case, it will alert you immediately. Just below that is the jacket, followed by a tracer round, pellant charge, and finally the electric primer. When fired, it can pass through 38 mm of steel. When fired from a range of $1,000 mem. Moving back to the front, the two objects positioned just above the gun and the forward radar warning receiver to create a 360-degree ground protection. These are also fitted on the wings on each sides and finally on the tip of the tail. They are essential for a ground attack jet, as heat-seeking missiles always pose a potential threat. When a target is locked by radar and illuminated by a continuous wave or pulse, Doppler signal used for missiles with a semi-active radar seeker, these radar warning receivers pick it up. The HUD and display unit alert the pilot and activate countermeasures such as flares to confuse incoming missiles, helping to prevent a fatal crash. Even for civilians, there are countless bad actors targeting our computers, which is why we need a defense mechanism. Just like the A-10 Thunderbolt's multi-targeting radar, similarly this VPN identifies and blocks suspicious email with a harmful download link. In this case, it will alert you immediately. Beyond that, it includes a robust antivirus software to shield your devices from viruses, malware, and tracking by ads, bots, or third parties. Finally, with Surfshark VPN, a single subscription covers not just you, but also your friends or even your entire city. By buying through the promo link, you will get 4 extra months free, assured by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Step over here. Once inside, you'll notice everything we clearly label with most of its parts. So feel free to take your time exploring before we dive into learning how to fire the GA-08 Avenger cannon. Right in front of you are the center stick controls. The red button on top is the weapon release, and just below that you'll find the trigger for the gun. To use the GA-08, first flip the red gun safety switch to gun pack arm. This activates both the cannon and the precision attack control system. Once you've locked onto a target, line up the upper dot of the reticle and hold down the first stage trigger on the target as shown here. When you're within a mile of the target, pull the trigger all the way. This unleashes a barrage of rounds powerful enough to take out tanks or lightly armored vehicles. Now that you've got the hang of the gun, let's talk about dropping bombs in case you come across one of these. For a bombing run, the pilot arcs into a semicircular dive toward the target, but releases the bomb halfway through the maneuver.